Hey, what's up everybody? This is your favorite homeboy, and today I want to talk to you about a topic that concerns all of you property owners out there. You know, right now in the Texas market, rental homes are going pretty quick. It doesn't take much to throw it on the market and it rents out. Really similar to selling a house. But in the Virginia, Maryland, DC area, it's a little bit different. The market for selling has cooled off a bit at the time of this recording. The market's just not as hot. Similarly, the rental market is also not as hot also. So, you know, it's really easy to sell a house when everything is great, right? Same thing with renting. If anything is great, you don't have to do much. People will be lining up to apply for your home. You'll have multiple applications easy. But it's when things get slow that you really have to ask yourself, do you have the right formula to successfully rent your home out? You know, there's a saying in the stock market that when a tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked. What that means is, you know, the market's great, everyone's a genius, they're all investing in the best stocks. But hey, when the tide goes out, when things are not great for everybody in the market, you know, tanks or just kind of drops, you start to see who is really the companies that really make it or not. I think I got that analogy right. In the leasing market, it's the same thing. We want to be prepared so that when the market gets slow, you're not just riding the wave, you're being a market leader. So how do you do that? How do you become the best home on the market and set the best first impression? Because first impressions are key. First impressions are what they're seeing on the internet. And if what's on the internet is not good, they're not even going to want to look at your house. Or maybe the internet, what's shown on the internet's great, but then when they get there, it's like a bad blind date, right? They're severely disappointed because something smells or just wasn't represented well, and the photos just kind of got away with it. And we don't want to rely on a strategy where you get away with stuff. So that's where you come in. Because as a property management company, we do everything we can. We take professional photos, which I'd say you're lucky if you find half the property managers that are taking professional photos of your home. And we're trying to be a market leader. We're also doing professional videography for our investor level members. So if you want to be an investor level member, it's just another $6 a month and you get the professional videography along with some other benefits like some guarantees and so on and so forth. So we're doing what we can to present your home as best as we can. But you know, if your home is not great, it's still not going to work. You know, have you ever seen, for example, like a model with messed up hair and nasty clothes and a beer belly? No, because no matter how much good photography you have, it's not going to fix that the model is bad. So you need more than just great photography and great videos. You need a great home. And that's so important these days because right now there's just so much institutional buying going on. So you have a lot of institutions entering the market to be professional landlords, and they're smart. Okay, these institutions are not run by dummies. They're putting millions and millions and billions of dollars into buying rental homes in bulk. And so that's who you're going to be competing against. You're not going to be competing against the guy next door who doesn't have enough money to fix it up. You're competing against now institutions who have the money, who are looking for that return in long-term real estate, and that's who you're competing with. So they're going to do everything they can to be a market leader. So how do we become a market leader? So I want to share with you kind of a grading system that we've come up with so that you can be a market leader. So that in a slow market, you will have the advantage, and in a market that's hot, you'll have the advantage because you're the market leader. So there's a couple of things we look for. And these are things I look for personally when I buy a rental home. So when I buy a rental home, these are the things I want to make sure I'm checking off so that when I put it on the market, I get immediate results. Okay, so the first thing I look for is price range. When I buy a property, I want to make sure that when I'm renting it out, I'm in a price range that's attracting the type of tenants that are going to have more margin in their budget. It just goes to show, I mean, it's pretty common sense that if you can barely afford like $600, you're in a $600 place, your budget is lower and you just don't have as much margin in your budget. In general, okay, I know it's a kind of an assumption. And so I try to go for properties that have higher rents and the numbers still work. So what's the sweet spot? That's going to vary depending on what your budget is for that rental property. But I'll tell you that in the Austin, Texas market, our average rent is $1,500 to $1,600 a month. And that's enough for a single family home. Okay, so our goal is to manage single family homes because we avoid more complications from being in lower price ranges that have to do with financial difficulties. So $1,500 to $1,600 a month is a good target rent, at least that. The price range in our Northern Virginia, Maryland, and DC market is about $2,100 to $2,200, and that's enough for maybe a townhome in the suburbs. Okay, so a townhome in the suburbs. So keep those price ranges in mind. They're just rules of thumb. There's nothing magical about it, but I just want you to know that during this whole pandemic, when there was a lot of financial difficulties for people, we only had about a 3% of our renters who had difficulty. And oh, by the way, they all paid their rent. All of our owners were made whole. So because I think we really try to focus in a specific price range and have our averages kept intact or growing, we avoid a lot of the headaches that come along with negative financial situations that might happen in a renter's life, and now your investment is affected. So the first thing is price range. The second criteria that goes along with it is your property type. So really just buying the right property can avoid some headaches. So what do I mean by that? Well, I like to stick with single family homes when possible. It's a little easier in Texas, although now it's becoming more difficult with the crazy appreciation the Austin market has experienced in the past 12 to 18 months. But focus on getting a single family home. In the Virginia, Maryland, DC market, we try to focus on a home or a townhome. What you want to avoid is a condo or any type of multi-family unit where you have a neighbor above you, below you, and beside you. Why? The reason why that affects your score as a property is because now you're subject to more risk. You may feel like, well, I have a multi-family fourplex, so I'm monetarily, I'm maximizing my return because of multi-family, and that may be true, but there's always a trade-off. Versus a condo, you know, you're getting all the negatives and none of the benefits because you own that one property, it's a condo, and whatever happens to your neighbor above you, like a leak, it affects you. Whatever leak you're having is affecting the guy below you. And loud neighbors and all that affects your property. And also, you get rid of a backyard, and a backyard is always a good renting point. So a lot of condos don't have that backyard that is great for marketing. So property type, I try to stick with house and townhouse. Again, it's a generalization, but I just find that it's less risky. The third criteria, besides price range and property type, is the location. You know, they say location is everything, right? Well, not just location, but also owner location. I'll tell you what I mean by that. So location is simple. If you're close to a great rated school, if you're close to maybe like a metro stop in the Northern Virginia, DC area where, you know, there's metros, if you have a great walking score, you're close to a lot of things, you're very convenient, that's a great location. What's a bad location and what could hurt your investment would be if you're in front of a major street. So there's a lot of traffic, or there's a major street behind you. So you got the backyard, you got the street. That's generally going to hurt you. You're not going to be a market leader. If there's a choice between a house that doesn't back to a street and one that does, they'll go for the one that backs to the street if there's a discount or there's no other competition available. So keep that in mind. Your location is important. And so not just location, but the reason why I say owner location is because where's the owner located? Personally, if that owner is located in another town, hey, that's great. Just don't drive by every week and check on them. If they're located inside the house, maybe they occupy one level, or maybe they occupy some other part on the property. Guys, we've seen this, and we manage one or two of these. That's going to hurt your score. That's going to hurt your grade as a property. You don't want to be in the property. You want to give that tenant some privacy. There's just more complications. Anytime you're sharing space, there's going to be complications. It kind of goes back to avoiding condos and multifamilies. Not just where's the owner located, but where's the owner's belongings located. And so what you'll find is that a lot of management companies don't like to manage furnished properties. Because again, with furnished properties, you're just creating more complication. And how many tenants out there need something furnished? Probably 1 in 50, 1 in 20. It's definitely a lot less than people who have their own things that they want to bring to the house and use. So you're kind of narrowing your target market when you have a furnished property. So my recommendation is get out of the house and get your stuff out of the house, and that will maximize your chances of having the best location. Okay, last thing, this is a big one. This is condition. Okay, to get the best score possible, your house needs to have updated bathrooms and kitchens, and just tear out that carpet. And I know this is kind of limited based off your budget, but if you're in it for the long term, which I hope you are, because real estate is a great long-term investment. It's the way people build their wealth. All the wealthy people have real estate, and that's how they build their wealth. So there's something about real estate, right? You're leveraging someone to pay off your rent, your mortgage, I mean. You're getting the appreciation, you're getting the tax benefits. Keep your home and make smart updates to it, like putting sustainable flooring and updating your bathrooms and kitchens. Why? Because in 5-10 years, your flooring will still be there. So you're gonna benefit from day one if you put in sustainable flooring versus having that carpet, that scraggly old carpet for 3 to 4 years and replacing it later. You're only getting the benefit for the latter part of that, update when you renovate it. And for the first 3 years, you're kind of suffering. So if you got the budget, just do it now. When these institutions are buying these homes that you're competing with, these institutions, they're updating everything. They're buying whole communities. They're buying new properties. They're partnering with builders. So it's really, really important that you really consider updating your showers and updating your bathrooms. Take every opportunity to do that. And here's a secret. If you can do it while there's a tenant in there, that's even better. You can say, hey, tenant, here's one thing I'm going to do for you while you're there. You don't even have to ask for it. I'm going to update your shower. Well, why does that benefit you? Because then you can make that update on the timeline when your home is still being paid for by rent versus doing it when it's vacant and extending that time of vacancy. So those are the 4 criteria. And we rate the homes A, B, or C. You have an A-rated property if you have all 4 of those criteria intact. You're in a good price range. The property type is either a townhouse or a house. You're not in the property or anywhere near the property. Your stuff's not in the property. You're located in a great location, and you're fully updated. Your kitchens, your bathrooms, and your flooring. That's an A-graded property. If you have 3 out of the 4 criteria, that's a B. And if you have 2 out of the 4 criteria, that's a C. Now, I know some of you watching may have some of these elements in place and you're like, well, I'm a B property, I'm a C property, what should I do? Well, if you can and your budget allows, increase the bar, raise the bar of that property, because we believe in the law of attraction, in that if your property is going to be great and have less complications and issues and terms that you need the tenant to compromise on, most likely you're going to have a tenant who matches that with less issues and less drama in their life. You don't want a drama queen renting your drama queen property. And there's some things that you may have that you can't change. And in those cases, just do your best with it. I know sometimes you can't change the location, you can't change things, and just do your best with it. But what I'm talking about is the ideal A-graded property. So remember, a lower grade means you're not being as competitive on the market. That's just simply what it means. And if you're less competitive, there's going to be less demand. There's going to be less people who want that home and lining up the door to say, I want to rent that awesome property. And what that equals to, at the end of the day, is more time on the market and less money, which is what we as investors all want to avoid. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to talk to me more about your property and what we can do to get it from a C to a B or a B to an A, give me a call, contact me below, or just drop a comment and let me know what you think. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. This is your favorite homeboy, signing out.